Proper ventilation is necessary to mitigate attic heat buildup and to avoid condensation problems that may cause dampness to rot the roof deck and distort the roofing materials. The air in your home is laden with moisture from cooking, laundry, bathing, the respiration of plants and animals, and the evaporation from plumbing fixtures. Water vapor is a serious concern during the winter months when the home is generally closed up tight. At that time, the water vapor generated in the home typically migrates up into the attic since the ceiling vapor barrier is rarely 100% perfect. Without proper ventilation, this excess moisture will remain in the attic, condense, and cause damage. As warm, moist air meets the colder air along the inside of the roof deck, condensation will form. This condensation may eventually lead to rotting wood in the attic and may also drip onto the insulation and reduce its effectiveness. Ice damming occurs as the warm, moist air raises the temperature of the snow on the roof and melts it. The water then runs down the roof where it refreezes as it reaches the colder area at the eaves. If your attic is undervented, your roof rafters or trusses, roof deck, and shingles are invaded by the moisture. This will reduce the life of the asphalt shingles. To minimize these problems, it's important to have proper ventilation. Remember, good venting involves both intake and exhaust. The intake must be at the eaves and the exhaust must be at or near the ridge. The venting must be balanced with approximately 50% at the intake or eaves and 50% at the ridge. With proper ventilation, air will circulate freely under the roof deck and carry away water vapor before it can condense. One of the best methods is a combination of continuous eave and ridge vents that together provide uniform natural draft ventilation from the bottom to the top of the attic space. Louver and vent openings should not be covered during the winter. Eaves or soffit vents should not be blocked by insulation. There are several venting products on the market today that will work well at the ridge of the roof. Ask your local distributor for more information. When determining the need for additional vents, the minimum specification underlined in building codes for net-free ventilation areas, that is, the area permitting unrestricted airflow of 1 square foot for 150 square feet of attic floor space is recommended. When vents are located at eaves or soffits and near the roof's peak or along the ridge for maximum net airflow, the net-free vent area may be reduced to a minimum 1 square foot for 300 square feet for a balanced system. Ventilation should be equal at the undereave and at or near the ridgeline. 1 square foot of net-free area for every 150 square feet of insulated ceiling area is required for low-slope roofs. The net-free area is usually stamped right on the vent by the manufacturer. For new roof vents, a hole should be cut the same size as the vent hole. Ideally, you should center a 3 foot by 3 foot section of one of our IKO ice and water protectors over the new vent hole. Cut away any ice and water protector now covering up the hole. Shingle up to the bottom of the vent opening and remove any shingle material that may be covering the hole. Apply plastic cement around the edges and nail the vent securely in place. Continue shingling, cutting to fit around the vent. Each cut shingle should be laid in a bead of cement. A dab of asphalt plastic cement over the exposed nails is recommended to avoid leakage. Several manufacturers now supply specialized ridge vents. To use these vents, install shingle courses up the roof to the ridge so that the ridge caps will cover the ceiling strip on both faces of the roof at the ridge. Cut away the roof decking to reveal 1 inch of space on both sides of the ridge joist. At both ends of the ridge, apply ridge cap shingles as already outlined to cover at least 12 inches of the ridge. For rigid ridge vents, center the vent over the ridge and overlap the installed ridge cap shingles so that the nails and ceiling strip are covered. Nail to the deck using the nailing marks supplied by the vent manufacturer. For rapid ridge vents, measure the length of the ridge and cut the fabric to size. Center the vent over the slot on one end with nail lines upwards and fasten with 2 nails. Roll out along the entire ridge, pull out the slack, and fasten with 2 nails at the opposite end. Beginning from the end of the ridge opposite the direction of the prevailing winds, apply the ridge cap shingles over the ridge vent, exposing each piece in the same manner as before. Nail the caps to the ridge vent following the nailing guide on the vent as provided by the vent manufacturer.